We are witnessing one of the darkest and most chaotic 48 hours in modern presidential history. If you are scrolling through your news feed right now, you are likely seeing one headline dominating everything. President Donald Trump has seemingly called for the execution of 6 sitting members of Congress. He has labeled their actions seditious behavior and stated in all caps that it is punishable by death. He even reposted a message from a supporter explicitly calling to hang them. The media is in a frenzy. The White House is in damage control. The Democratic Party is condemning the death threats. The entire nation is talking about sedition, treason, and the safety of lawmakers. But I am here to tell you that this explosion of rage, as dangerous and unprecedented as it is, might actually be a calculated distraction. It is what political strategists call a dead cat strategy. You throw a dead cat on the table, everyone screams about the cat, and nobody notices what you just did in the background. So, what is the president trying to hide behind this wall of noise? He is hiding the fact that on Wednesday, quietly and without fanfare, he surrendered. He signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, officially starting the 30-day countdown that could expose the darkest secrets of the elite. The death threat controversy is the smokescreen designed to keep your eyes off the real ticking clock. I am going to break down exactly what happened, why the president's sedition claim is being used now, and why you must not let the chaos distract you from the impending release of the Epstein files. To understand the explosion, we first have to look at the spark. On Tuesday, a group of 6 Democratic members of Congress released a joint video message. These weren't just random politicians. They are all military veterans or former intelligence officers. The group included Senators Mark Kelly, a Navy combat pilot, and Elissa Slotkin, a former CIA analyst, along with Representatives Jason Crow, Chris Deluzio, Chrissy Houlihan, and Maggie Goodlander. In the video, they spoke directly to the men and women of the U.S. military and intelligence community. Their message was stark but legally grounded. They reminded service members of their oath to the Constitution, not to a specific person. Senator Kelly stated clearly, "Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders." They urged the military to uphold the rule of law and not give up the ship, warning that the administration was testing the boundaries of the Constitution. The video was provocative, certainly. It implied that the president might issue illegal orders in the future. But telling soldiers to follow the law is a standard affirmation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It was a political statement, a warning shot from the opposition. For nearly 48 hours, the video circulated with standard partisan bickering. Then, on Thursday morning, crucially, the day after the Epstein signing, President Trump erupted. Taking to Truth Social, the president didn't just criticize the video. He criminalized it. In a series of furious posts, he accused the lawmakers of seditious behavior from traitors. He asked if they should be locked up, but then he went further. In a separate post, he wrote 5 words that have set Washington on fire: seditious behavior, punishable by death. To make his intent even clearer, he reposted a comment from a user that featured a picture of the lawmakers and the caption, "Hang them." George Washington would. Let's be clear about what this is. The President of the United States publicly amplified a call to hang his political opponents and explicitly mentioned the death penalty for their political speech. The White House press secretary later tried to walk it back, claiming he wasn't literally calling for executions, but the damage was done. The media cycle instantly shifted from policy and legislation to a debate about whether the president is inciting murder. This is where you have to look past the headline and look at the timeline. Why did this explosion happen on Thursday morning? The video was released on Tuesday. If it was truly seditious behavior, why wait 2 days to react? The answer lies in what happened on Wednesday. On Wednesday, November 19th, President Trump quietly signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act into law. Think about what that signing represents. For months, his administration fought this bill. They called it a hoax. They pressured Republicans not to sign the discharge petition. They tried to block it at every turn. But on Tuesday, the House passed it 427-1. The Senate passed it unanimously. The president was cornered. He suffered a total political defeat. He was forced to sign a bill that he desperately wanted to kill. If the media had focused on Thursday's news cycle solely on the Epstein signing, the narrative would have been devastating. Trump surrenders on Epstein. President forced to sign transparency bill. 30-day clock starts for Trump's secrets. It would have been a day of analysis about his past ties to Epstein, the smokescreen investigation into Democrats, and the weakness of his political position. Instead, the narrative became, Trump threatens to hang Democrats. By throwing the dead cat, the death threat, on the table, the president successfully hijacked the news cycle. CNN, Fox News, MS Now, and the New York Times are all talking about sedition and execution. They are not talking about the fact that the Justice Department is now legally mandated to release the Epstein Files in 29 days. This is a classic authoritarian and populist tactic. When you are weak on a specific issue, create a chaotic firestorm on a different, emotional issue. The sedition claim is perfect for this purpose because it is highly polarizing. It energizes his base, who view the Democratic video as a genuine call for a military coup. It enrages the opposition, who view Trump's rhetoric as violent and dictatorial. It sucks all the oxygen out of the room. While everyone is arguing about whether Mark Kelly is a traitor or a hero, nobody is asking Attorney General Pam Bondi about the specific timeline for the Epstein document release. Nobody is asking about the active investigation loophole that I warned you about in my previous video. The smokescreen defense works best when there is actual smoke in the air, and a threat to execute senators creates a lot of smoke. This strategy serves two purposes. First, it buries the Epstein headline. Second, it reasserts dominance. Signing the bill was a moment of weakness. Threatening the opposition is a show of strength to his base. It reframes the president not as a man hiding secrets, but as a commander-in-chief defending the nation against traitors in Congress. The danger for us, for the people demanding the truth, is that we fall for the trap. We get so caught up in the outrage of the death threat that we forget the clock is ticking. The Epstein Files Transparency Act is now law. That is the reality. The Department of Justice has less than 30 days to comply. But remember, they have that massive loophole, the ability to withhold files related to active investigations. While the media is distracted by the sedition fight, the lawyers at the DOJ are likely working overtime to redact thousands of pages of documents. They are deciding right now which names to black out, which flight logs to suppress, and which emails, like the explosive ones we discussed yesterday, to hide under the guise of national security or ongoing investigations. If the public pressure fades because we are too busy arguing about the president's tweets, the DOJ will feel emboldened to redact more. They rely on our short attention spans. They rely on the next scandal being bigger than the last one. This is not to say the death threat isn't serious. It is incredibly dangerous for a president to suggest hanging his opponents. It lowers the bar for political violence and puts those 6 lawmakers in genuine physical danger. We must condemn that rhetoric. But we must also be smart enough to walk and chew gum at the same time. We can condemn the violence and refuse to be distracted from the Epstein files. We can see the sedition claim for what it is. A desperate, noisy attempt to change the channel. The president wants you to talk about Mark Kelly. He wants you to talk about treason. He wants you to talk about anything other than Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and the secrets locked away in the Justice Department's vaults. The 30-day clock is the only thing that matters. The sedition controversy will burn out in a few days. The media will move on. But the deadline for the files is fixed. Do not let the noise drown out the signal. The president signed the bill because he had no choice. Now he is trying to create chaos to cover his retreat. We need to stay focused on the documents. We need to keep asking the hard questions. Will the DOJ release the unredacted files? Will they use the active investigation loophole? Will the truth finally come out? The dead cat is on the table, and it is ugly. But do not look at it. Look at the calendar. Look at the Justice Department. The countdown is at 29 days, and no amount of shouting on Truth Social can stop it. I will keep my eyes on the files, no matter how loud the distractions get. If you want to stay focused on the truth, make sure you are subscribed to the Trump-Epstein saga playlist. We are tracking the countdown, day by day, scandal by scandal. And for a fast breakdown of this dead cat strategy, watch my 60-second short right now. The distraction is the weapon. Focus is the shield. We are watching.